Olivia, ladies and gentlemen, is the epitome of human weakness and spontaneity. Sometimes our actions are not meaningful, and only after we have completed our actions do we realize with horror that we have made an irreversible mistake, damaging the world around us. I, Olivia, find myself at a crossroads. I'm distraught because I betrayed my husband by spending the night with our real estate agent. This fact is still unknown to him, and I am confused, not knowing how to confess what happened. Guilt gnaws at me from within, and I realize that the truth may be the only way to alleviate it. However, I know my husband well. His hot temper and tendency to revenge will not easily forgive my transgression. In spite of all his faults, he remains a man of exceptional kindness and wonderful qualities, whom I do not want to lose. But I cannot bear to live with the unrevealed truth. Before I tell you the whole story, it is important to understand our shared history with my husband, because only then can you truly understand the depth of my feelings and fears surrounding this confession. My name is Sarah. I am a 32-year-old woman who is married to Timothy, a 33-year-old man. Our story began a year ago and we have been happily married for 5 years now, raising 2 sons, who for the sake of privacy I will call Kai and Stormy. These little men, both under the age of 5, fill our lives with joy and meaning. We met Timothy at a friend's party where, in an atmosphere of carefree chatter and laughter, fate brought us together. My friend Jenny, who was having fun at the time, suddenly turned into a matchmaker of sorts. When our gazes met, an invisible connection was instantly formed between us. Our conversation began naturally and easily, as if we had known each other forever. Timothy listened to me with interest. His smile and attention made the moment unforgettable. After moving away from the noisy crowd, we found a secluded spot where we continued our conversation. It turned out that we had a lot in common, especially in our perception of art and life. Talking about dreams and the unpredictability of life, it seemed as if the universe had arranged this matchmaking on purpose. That night, amidst the endless conversation and laughter at a friend's party, we realized that there was something special between us, as if we were on the same page in this multi-voiced and fun world. The decision to move in with Timothy was a deliberate and considered one. Our strong bond and the unforgettable moments we had experienced together made our desire to build a life together obvious. Our first home was a cozy apartment in a nice apartment complex. It was the beginning of our journey together and a new chapter in our story. Combining our belongings and adapting to each other's routines in our new apartment was full of ups and downs. Along the way to living together, we consistently strived to find a middle ground and compromise. Our apartment complex became something of a small village for us, where we built relationships with our neighbors, and weekend barbecues in the common courtyard gave us the opportunity to make friends. Our relationship went beyond just sharing a roof. We planned our shared life as a team. Living together meant so much more than just splitting bills or grocery shopping. It was proof of our commitment and belief in a shared future. Even little things like choosing a paint color for the living room became a symbol of our shared dreams. We began to dream of a home of our own that would truly be ours. Although the apartment was cozy, we longed for something more permanent. In this context, we even entered into a primary purpose trust, planning to save up money and one day buy our own home. Making this dream a reality required taking our finances seriously. We learned to save money, making decisions that sometimes required sacrifices, all for our main goal of building our dream home. This process was not easy, but it strengthened us as a couple and emphasized our willingness to work together for a common future. In reality, every dollar we saved was a step closer to a place where we could start a family together and make lasting memories. Our decisions, such as moving in together less than a year after we met, may have been surprising to others, but it seemed like a natural step for us. However, living together with Timothy brought its own real-life challenges. One of the first challenges was figuring out how to split the bills. It was initially awkward, but we sat down together and worked out a system that seemed fair to both of us. budget negotiations required open dialogue and a willingness to compromise. We quickly realized that we each had different ideas about cleanliness and order, and had to adjust to each other's strengths so that we both felt we were contributing equally to the common cause. It wasn't without trial and error. There were arguments about whose turn it was to do the dishes, but eventually we found a system that worked for both of us. There was also the issue of personal space. We had to figure out how to respect each other's need for solitude while still maintaining a sense of togetherness. We realized that it was possible to do our own things while sharing the same space, while respecting each other's boundaries and needs. These lessons helped us strengthen our relationship and become a stronger couple. After about a year of dating and hanging out with Timothy, we realized that our relationship had become something much more than just a casual fling. We laughed together, supported each other, and our interactions were woven into a fabric of deep and sincere feelings. One evening, after a cozy dinner, Timothy looked at me as if he saw my entire future in me and said, "Sarah, I can't imagine my life without you. What if we made it official?" His words were simple, but they struck a chord with me. Deciding to get married a year after we met seemed like the natural next step in our story. Fortunately, our families got along well. Timothy immediately won my family over with his kindness, and his parents welcomed me with open arms. Although some people thought we were moving too fast and that perhaps we were in a hurry, we were completely confident in our decision. Our love was strong and genuine, and planning the wedding became our project together. Together we chose the ceremony location, the colors of the decorations, and every detail that made this day special for us. It was a time of joy and mutual support, a time when our future began to take the shape of a happy life together. Planning a wedding was not just an event for us, but a true joint venture that tested our ability to make decisions together. Despite the caring concerns of friends and family that were sometimes voiced over dinner and served as gentle reminders to proceed with caution, we stayed the course. We realized that every couple is unique. Some date for just a year before marriage and are happy together, while others may date for years and then drift apart. The wedding turned into an exciting journey for us. We wanted the celebration to be heartfelt and reflect who we are, while not burdening us financially. This meant clearly understanding our budget from the beginning and finding ways to make the celebration truly special without exceeding it. We spent many days researching different venues, attending open days, and eventually found the perfect venue. We managed to find a cozy place with a charming garden atmosphere. It wasn't a luxury banquet hall, but had exactly the charm and warmth we were looking for, while still fitting our budget. Our goal was to create a wedding that reflected us, our love and our dreams together, and we were determined to make it happen within realistic possibilities. Compiling the guest list was difficult and was like walking a tightrope. We wanted to invite everyone, but we had to be realistic. We decided to keep the event modest, inviting only close friends and family to keep the event intimate and warm. It wasn't easy to keep the list short, but it was necessary to focus on what was most important, our loved ones. Choosing the menu for the wedding was also a challenge. We attended several tastings, tried to negotiate a reasonable price, and eventually chose an option that was delicious but didn't cost too much. The main challenge was finding the right balance between the quality of the food and budget constraints. As for the wedding outfits, we had a real adventure waiting for us here too. We decided to skip the expensive boutiques and look for more affordable options. We even considered buying used dresses. We ended up finding outfits that fit our style perfectly and were within our budget. It was an exciting time where each choice brought us closer to creating a day that would be the epitome of our love and shared aspirations. Organizing the decorations for the wedding became a true family project. We invited friends and family to help us create centerpieces and decorate the venue. Not only was this a way to save money compared to hiring professionals, but it was also an opportunity to add personality and special charm to our celebration. Finding the balance between understated and informal was difficult. We strived for simplicity while still wanting our day to be special and unforgettable. We decided to invest in what mattered most to us: a nice venue, good food, and personal touch, while cutting back on the less important aspects. Just a year after our marriage, we received unexpected news. We found out that we would soon become parents. This was not part of our original plan, rather, it was a surprise that took us by surprise. Initially, Timothy and I were in a bit of shock, unsure of what this sudden turn of events meant for us. However, we gradually accepted the news, deciding to accept the circumstances and do the best we could for our future child. This news completely changed the established rhythm of our lives, but we were ready to meet this challenge and start a new chapter in our lives. As we learned of the imminent arrival of our baby, we realized that this was an event that our original plans had not envisioned. Suddenly we found ourselves facing a new, unforeseen reality. Our fear had nothing to do with a lack of love or commitment to each other, but rather with the realization that our lives would change drastically. Questions about growing up and taking responsibility for our new lives became our new challenges. We were ordinary people facing an extraordinary moment that was about to unfold. The realization that we would soon become parents and bring a new person into this world was shocking at first, but over time this shock was replaced by seeing this event as a hidden blessing. Fear and anxiety gradually transformed into excitement and anticipation. We realized that our future was a promise to meet all new challenges and provide our child with a better home full of love and care. This unexpected turn of events brought us together even stronger, reminding us of the value of family life and how important it is to be prepared for unexpected changes in our life's journey. In the months that followed, we experienced a whirlwind of events, from preparing for the birth to setting up the baby's room. Each day brought a mixture of excitement and anxiety. We studied parenting literature, asked friends for advice, and tried to prepare ourselves as much as possible for the arrival of our baby. And then, on the day Kai was born, everything changed. When we took our newborn son in our arms for the first time, all worries disappeared, replaced by unbridled love and a sense of responsibility for this little man. Kai, with his little hands and curious eyes, instantly became the center of our world. We officially became parents, and although it wasn't in our plans, it seemed like fate itself had led us to this amazing moment. Parenthood proved to be a lesson in adapting to new circumstances. Changing diapers at night and singing lullabies became our new reality. We discovered a level of love and strength we had never known before. Looking back, we realized that the initial fear was just our reaction to the unknown. It pushed us to grow personally and strengthened our relationship as a couple. We have learned to rely on each other, discuss our fears and dreams candidly, and rejoice in the small victories that come with parenthood. Kai's arrival into our lives was not planned, but turned out to be the most wonderful surprise. His laughter filled our home with happiness and strengthened our relationship with Timothy. We may not have thought things through from the beginning, but our commitment to doing our best for Kai has turned us into parents ready to accept all of life's surprises with open arms. Life sometimes brings unexpected surprises, and just 2 years after Kai's birth, we found out we were expecting another child. Again, fear gripped us, but now it was a different kind of fear. Whereas the first time we had worried about being parents, now financial concerns took center stage. Our income was modest, and the thought of how to feed another child added new worries. News of a second child brought mixed feelings, joy and excitement mixed with worries about how we would cope financially. Questions about medical expenses, diapers, and everything in between filled our thoughts. We were gripped with fear that our financial boat might not be able to handle another passenger. However, just like the first time, we decided to face the problem head-on and make the best of the situation. Our jobs were stable, but they didn't provide a luxurious life, and we were constantly balancing on the edge financially. The idea of cutting our budget even further with the arrival of another child added extra pressure. Although we weren't drowning in money, our determination to provide our growing family with a decent life was unwavering. In the face of financial hardship, we made the decision to seek out new opportunities for additional income. Our goal was not to achieve incredible heights, but to provide our children with everything they needed. It was a challenging time, but our love and determination to do what we could for our family's well-being kept us moving forward. Late-night job searches, updating resumes, and being actively involved in our professional networks became our new reality. Expecting our second child brought with it a sense of urgency and a need for action. We challenged ourselves to find new jobs and part-time work, emphasizing not on striving for stardom but on providing everything we needed for our children. This new situation required us to be flexible and decisive. Timothy looked at a variety of job options, and I found freelance opportunities in my spare time. We learned to save every penny and even considered giving up some non-essential items to prepare for Stormy's arrival. Preparing for Stormy's birth was filled with excitement and anxiety. We bravely faced the challenge, realizing that our family's well-being depended on our ability to adapt and find ways to deal with complexity. The fear did not disappear, but it turned into motivation to make positive changes in our lives. In the months before Stormy's arrival, we prepared not only for a new family member, but also for the financial challenges that inevitably awaited us. This period was a test of our resilience and cohesiveness as a family. We learned to balance the joy of expecting a new baby with the need to deal with financial issues, confirming that together we could overcome any challenge. After we faced financial challenges due to Stormy's arrival, there was a turnaround. Timothy got a better paying job and I also found a more satisfying position. It was like hitting the jackpot in terms of our income. The stress of having to make ends meet was gone, and now our hard work was beginning to pay off in more than just financial terms. We continued to labor in our spare time by freelancing during the night hours and taking on extra assignments on the weekends. While this meant sacrificing vacation time, the extra income justified the effort. We didn't just work hard, we worked smart, using our skills to improve our financial situation. And when it seemed like things couldn't get any better, Timothy's parents surprised us with a generous cash gift that was like winning the financial lottery and significantly increased our savings. Upon receiving this unexpected financial bonus, we were faced with the decision of how best to use it. The options were to invest it to pay off debts or put it aside for our children's future. However, the long-held dream of owning our own home that had long resided in Tim and me began to seem more real, especially as the kids got older and our apartment began to seem too small. With savings and a generous gift from Timothy's parents, we seriously considered buying our own place. We learned about Robert, a real estate agent who had a good reputation for successful transactions and was said to have won the sympathy of many people in our neighborhood. Due to Tim's time-consuming job, I took the initiative and contacted Robert to discuss our desires and financial options regarding the purchase of a home. Meeting with him gave me mixed feelings of excitement and nervousness, as this was an important step toward realizing our dream of owning our own home. The prospect of going from an apartment to a home of our own was exciting. We were looking forward to meeting Robert, ready to discuss all the details and start a new chapter in our lives. Meeting with Robert proved to be not just a business meeting, but an enjoyable socializing experience. His charm and ability to communicate made the home search less tedious and more fun. Although there was some banter and light flirting during the home selection process, I didn't pay much attention to it. Robert had not only charm, but also a talent for finding impressive offers, which added confidence to our home search. The whole process was like an adventure as we explored different neighborhoods and weighed our options. Even though we didn't find the perfect home that day, Robert promised to offer us something special in the coming days. Staying true to his word, he soon contacted us with a new offer, which he said he was very excited about. As we pulled up to the house, my eyes widened with admiration. This house didn't just fit, it seemed perfect for our family. The atmosphere of the house exuded warmth and comfort, and I felt like this was the place where our family could really blossom. While touring the house, our conversation with Robert became more personal. We exchanged stories, found common ground, and built a connection beyond standard real estate communication. This added a special note to our communication and made the home search process even more memorable and meaningful. In the full bloom of our charm, Robert and I were merrily cracking jokes, enjoying the mutual attraction. But suddenly, as if out of spite, the weather decided to change our plans. The heavy rain that started to fall scattered our cozy home company. We, full of hope, decided to wait for its end, but, unfortunately, nature had its own plans. The rain only intensified, ruining all hopes for a favorable outcome. Timothy seemed to shrink in size as our phones lost connection, leaving us in this unforeseen position. I confess, acted foolishly, giving in to a momentary impulse. It seemed that the rain was a sign from the universe, urging me to follow Robert's wishes that I had secretly dreamed of. But now I regretted my actions. We continued to play and joke, though we both realized it was only a masquerade. And before I realized what was happening, we could no longer resist each other. These moments of intimacy, which had seemed pleasant at first, lost their charm as the first rays of morning light came through the drenched windows. I'd crossed the line, and guilt swept over me. When I got home, I couldn't tell Timothy the truth. I explained that because it was raining I couldn't leave and that's why I hadn't come home the night before. I claimed that I couldn't call him because there was no signal. Although he was wary at first, he eventually believed me, especially after I told him that Robert had left despite the weather and suggested that he call Robert to verify my words. Surrounded by guilt, I stand at a crossroads, torn between the desire to open up to Timothy and the fear of losing him forever. I feel like I desperately need advice, and at the same time, my online post, which was originally intended as a small request for help, has suddenly become a sensation. At first it was just a few words, but now I am overwhelmed with messages from people genuinely interested in my plight. The pressure of conscience became insurmountable, and I gathered my courage and decided to open up to Timothy. My story of what had happened between Robert and me stirred up a storm of emotion in him. Timothy was furious and perplexed. He admitted that he began to suspect me after talking to Robert's mom. We are all connected by the same neighborhood where we live, and one day while walking by, Timothy stopped to talk to her. Robert's mom, a woman who is open and kind, casually mentioned that her son hadn't come home that night. This information contradicted what I had said about Robert leaving, and although I tried to convince Timothy that Robert could have simply gone somewhere else, my words sounded implausible. Timothy read me right through. He said he could never forgive cheating because he couldn't bear the betrayal. He admitted that my affair with the handsome and attractive Robert had seriously damaged his self-esteem, and now he was demanding a divorce. I tried to convince him, but words seemed powerless in the face of a broken marriage. Perhaps I shouldn't have told him the truth, but silence would be tantamount to lying, and I was against lying. My childhood, marred by deception at the hands of my parents, taught me to always tell the truth, even if it is painful. Our apartment is in Timothy's name, and I'm still here because I'm afraid the sudden change will greatly affect our children. We are trying to make a smooth transition from living together to separation. Timothy barely communicates with me and the children, as if he is trying to ignore my existence. He has already informed his and my parents of what is happening. They are deeply disappointed in me. Timothy's parents insist on his decision to leave me, and my parents do not miss an opportunity to express their displeasure. Financial issues have also come into focus. Money from the joint account has been divided and Timothy has taken most of it, including our savings and even gifts from his parents. I didn't see the point in fighting over it. That's all that happened. I hope my experience serves as a lesson to others. As each day passes, I try to come to terms with all that has happened and admit my guilt.